The Navy's Brightest couldn't solve it. 3 days of the most advanced engineering minds working around the clock. Defense contractors flying in their top specialists. Nothing worked. The crisis deepened as international tensions escalated. Then, a helicopter landed. Among the new arrivals stepped a quiet woman in civilian clothes. Faded jeans, worn boots, and a leather messenger bag. No uniform, no explanation, just piercing eyes that missed nothing. The engineers exchanged skeptical glances when she dismissed their work and asked for the original blueprints. Hours later, as hope faded, a deep vibration began to build from below. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If you enjoy stories about hidden heroes and classified missions, consider subscribing for more untold tales from history. The USS Leviathan sat motionless in the Pacific, America's most advanced destroyer reduced to a floating steel monument to technological failure. Commander Sarah Mitchell paced the bridge, her jaw clenched in frustration. 72 hours had passed since their revolutionary quantum propulsion system went dark, leaving 300 sailors stranded in increasingly hostile waters. "Status report," Mitchell demanded. "Still nothing, ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez replied, exhaustion evident in his voice. "Chief Engineer Thompson says they've exhausted every protocol. The system won't respond." Through the bridge windows, support vessels circled like worried guardians. Beyond the horizon, Chinese naval forces monitored their vulnerability, staying just outside territorial waters, but clearly assessing American weakness. "Every hour we sit here broadcasts failure to hostile forces worldwide," Mitchell muttered. "Admiral Petrosky is personally overseeing engineering efforts below," Rodriguez added. "Pentagon has authorized emergency contractor support." When Indo-Pacific Command sends a 4-star admiral to supervise a technical malfunction, careers aren't just on the line. American naval superiority is being questioned by enemies watching from satellites and submarines. In engineering, the scene resembled a high-tech battlefield. Dozens of specialists in Navy uniforms and corporate polo shirts clustered around diagnostic screens, faces illuminated by scrolling code and system failures. Admiral Petrosky towered over the assembled experts, his weathered face showing strain. At 62, he'd seen naval technology evolve from steam turbines to quantum processors, but nothing had prepared him for this. "Explain it again," Petrosky demanded. Chief Engineer Thompson, an MIT graduate who'd helped design the hybrid system, wiped sweat from his forehead. "Sir, the quantum propulsion control system is rejecting all override commands. It's like the neural network decided to shut down permanently." "Neural networks don't make decisions," interjected Dr. Marcus Webb from Northrop Dynamics. "There has to be a logical explanation." "That's the problem," Thompson replied. "This isn't conventional failure. The quantum processing core operates on principles beyond traditional engineering. It thinks faster than we can analyze." Petrosky's expression darkened. "Are you suggesting our technology has become sentient?" "I'm suggesting we're dealing with systems so advanced that standard protocols are inadequate," Thompson answered carefully. The admiral stepped away, speaking quietly into his secure device. The conversation involved authorization codes most people in the room had never heard. When he returned, his face carried the weight of highest-level decisions. Washington is sending one final specialist. Arrival in 6 hours. As the destroyer remained vulnerable, tension mounted. In the officers' mess, conversations grew somber. 3 days, Lieutenant Commander Torres said, staring at untouched food. 3 days of the world's best engineering minds, and we're still a floating target. "It's more than engine failure," Communications Officer Davis replied. "The quantum navigation system is completely dark. We can't even maneuver." Commander Mitchell entered, commanding immediate attention. 20 years in the Navy, solving impossible problems, but this challenged everything she knew. "The specialist arrives this afternoon," she announced. "Until then, maintain full alert and continue repairs." "Ma'am, what kind of specialist?" Torres asked hesitantly. "We've had the best engineers from 3 commands." Mitchell's expression remained neutral. "The kind called when conventional expertise fails." Day 4 dawned with helicopter rotors. The flight deck crew prepared for another expert team, expecting the usual pattern: uniformed officers, corporate representatives, classified briefcases. Lieutenant Commander Harrison met the arrivals. Among them walked a woman who stood out through ordinariness. Early 50s, faded jeans, worn boots, simple pullover, silver-streaked hair and a practical ponytail, carrying only a weathered messenger bag. Commander Harrison? A stone-faced intelligence officer presented documentation. These clearances come from Joint Chiefs. Full access, no restrictions, no questions. Harrison scanned the papers. Eyebrows raising at security classifications. Understood. I'll escort your team to engineering. The woman, identified only as Dr. Katherine Thorne, followed silently, sharp gray eyes cataloging every detail. At engineering, desperate activity paused as heads turned. Another civilian consultant prompted barely concealed sighs from engineers working without sleep for days. Another expert? Chief Thompson asked, voice revealing exhaustion and skepticism. Dr. Thorne didn't wait for introductions. She moved to the central diagnostic station, displacing a contractor running the same failed test sequence. I need the original schematics, she said, voice quiet but carrying authority. Not modified versions. Originals. Ma'am, these are originals, protested the contractor. We're working from master documentation. A slight smile crossed her face, suggesting knowledge others lacked. No, they're not. Admiral Petrosky stepped forward. Doctor, what makes you qualified to assess our documentation? Give me system access, Admiral, she replied, already focusing on the console. Thompson exchanged glances with Petrosky, who gave an imperceptible nod. Security clearances established her authority, regardless of opinions about civilian contractors. Give her whatever she needs, Petrosky ordered, then lowered his voice to Harrison. Monitor her closely. As the team reluctantly made space, Master Chief Rodriguez in back stared at Dr. Thorne with sudden recognition. His weathered face went pale, respect and apprehension filling his eyes. Master Chief Rodriguez, Harrison noticed his reaction. Everything all right? Rodriguez straightened. Yes, sir. Surprised to see civilian access at this level, Dr. Thorne worked methodically, speaking only to request information or additional access. When Thompson tried explaining their troubleshooting, she listened with detached attention of someone reviewing amateur efforts. You're focusing on system responses, she observed. I need core quantum architecture. That requires clearances beyond even Admiral Petrosky's authorization, Thompson explained, concerned about protocols. She didn't look up. Check my codes again. Thompson entered her credentials, expression shifting from skepticism to confusion to amazement. How do you have Omega-level clearance? That's theoretical access I've never seen. She didn't answer, waiting as Thompson reluctantly unlocked the ship's most protected systems. Hours passed in focused silence. The team continued around her with decreasing confidence and increasing curiosity about this civilian who understood systems they'd spent years studying. By evening, Mitchell received updates containing no progress. 8 hours without findings, Harrison reported. Her credentials are legitimate, but her background is unusual. How unusual? Most information is classified beyond my access. She exists in documentation, but her identity is protected by protocols I've never encountered. Mitchell frowned. Monitor, but don't interfere. Joint Chiefs clearances mean we follow orders. On the bridge, tactical concerns mounted. Foreign vessels moved closer, Martinez reported, probing our defensive perimeter, assessing operational status. Maintain alert posture, Mitchell ordered. No aggressive moves. We can't provoke incidents while disabled. Near midnight, Rodriguez returned with coffee. He placed one cup beside Dr. Thorne, watching her manipulate complex interfaces. After silence, she spoke without looking up. Long time, Master Chief. You remember me? His voice dropped to whisper. I remember everyone from Prometheus, she replied, fingers working multiple keyboards. Rodriguez glanced around nervously. No one's supposed to know about that. Yet here we are. She looked up, eyes reflecting exhaustion and determination. Long way from Mariana Trench, Rodriguez. Never thought I'd see you again after the incident. She returned to diagnostics. Surprised they let you stay active after what happened. They didn't have choice after you ensured survivors could ask questions. Others who know were transferred or promoted to silence. You chose silence and continued serving. I keep my head down, do my job. But I never forgot what you did. Does anyone here know who you are? She shook her head. They don't need to know. When finished, I'll disappear. Like before conversation ended as Harrison returned, suspicion evident observing their interaction. Finding everything needed, Doctor? Getting closer, she replied, dismissing him by focusing on displays. By morning, Dr. Thorne had isolated herself, working on core systems with equipment most crew had never seen activated. Petrosky grew impatient. 18 hours since arrival. We need results, not mysterious procedures. Her clearances indicate authority beyond our grades, Mitchell replied carefully. Clearances don't guarantee competence. She could be making things worse. Thompson approached urgently. Sir, you need to see what she's accessing. His tablet showed readouts defying understanding. She's manipulating programming modules we didn't know existed, like discovering hidden rooms in your house. Security concern? Petrosky demanded. Uncertain. She has access to specifications never in our documentation, Mitchell decided. I want direct communication about her progress. At her workstation, Dr. Thorne concentrated on screens displaying rapidly scrolling code and three-dimensional quantum models none had seen before. Dr. Thorne, Mitchell began, we need updates on repairs. Working, she replied without looking up. Insufficient. This destroyer is my responsibility. I need to understand modifications you're making that got attention. She turned, studying Mitchell with penetrating gray eyes. Your system isn't malfunctioning, Commander. It's deliberately deactivated by dormant protocol embedded in quantum architecture. Sabotage? Petrosky interjected sharply. In a manner of speaking, but not how you're thinking. She returned to work. 2 more hours. Either I'll solve this or won't. Supervision won't accelerate process hours later. The Leviathan remained motionless. Most engineering team dismissed. Dr. Thorne worked alone in isolated propulsion control. Mitchell entered with coffee, looking haggard. Any progress? Petrosky shook his head grimly. No communication of findings. We're operating on faith in clearances. Who is she really? Every background research hits classified barriers. Because her identity is protected at highest levels, came Rodriguez's voice behind them. He approached respectfully. Sir, ma'am, may I speak confidentially about our consultant? After consent, in quiet corridor, Rodriguez looked around carefully. I served experimental deep-sea vessel 2008, Project Prometheus, testing advanced underwater propulsion in Mariana Trench when primary reactor failed catastrophically. Never heard of Prometheus, Petrosky frowned. Officially never existed. 12,000 meters down when quantum processing core controlling life support went offline. No communications, no surface capability, 4 hours emergency oxygen. What happened? Mitchell asked, suspecting the answer. Civilian specialist aboard as primary designer. She entered a radiated reactor compartment without protection, diagnosed core failure in minutes, jury-rigged solution saving 47 lives. Mitchell processed this. That was Dr. Thorne. Yes, ma'am. She designed the quantum processing system, entire integrated architecture. When it failed catastrophically, Navy engineers declared hopeless. She proved them wrong. Why isn't this documented? What we tested was decades beyond current technology, mission completely classified, quantum systems still beyond most naval applications. Her role? Rodriguez hesitated. Lead designer for quantum naval technologies, most current systems still try to match. Her 15-year-old work is more advanced than today's usage. Suddenly, lights flickered throughout destroyer, deep vibration built from lower decks, sound absent for 3 days. What was that? Petrosky demanded. Ship's communication activated. Bridge. Engineering. Something significant happening with propulsion systems. They rushed toward engineering, joined by officers responding to vibrations. Moving through corridors, they felt subtle changes in the massive vessel, like sleeping giant awakening. In engineering, Dr. Thorne stood before open control panel, hands moving with precise confidence manipulating components glowing with quantum energy. Expression showed no triumph, only focused determination completing complex procedure. Admiral, Thompson's voice over intercom. Propulsion system initializing. All quantum cores coming online simultaneously. Engineering team gathered around monitoring stations, watching amazed as systems unresponsive for days reactivated in perfect sequence. How is this possible? Demanded Dr. Webb from Northrop. We attempted every restart protocol in database. Thompson stared at readouts disbelievingly. She's not restarting. She's rebuilding entire quantum architecture from foundational level upward. When Petrosky and Mitchell reached engineering, they found Dr. Thorne methodically closing panels, returning specialized tools to messenger bag. It's repaired, she announced simply. Compartment erupted with questions from exhausted engineers, but Petrovsky silenced everyone. What was the actual problem? She looked at him with penetrating gray eyes. Your system was compromised by dormant algorithm embedded in quantum architecture, designed to activate under specific conditions and disable propulsion. How did you identify this? Because I designed the original quantum processing system. What you're using is based on my foundational research, though significantly modified. I recognized the embedded protocol signature. Engineering compartment fell silent, except steady hum of reactivated systems. Who are you? Mitchell finally asked. Before response, Rodriguez stepped forward, rendering crisp military salute surprising everyone, including himself. Sir, she's the reason 47 sailors survived Prometheus incident. Compartment erupted in chaos, questions from all directions. Petrovsky took control. Everyone non-essential to propulsion restart, clear immediately. As space emptied except critical personnel, Petrovsky turned to Dr. Thorne for explanations. Quantum processing was designed with specific safeguards. When I left naval research 12 years ago, those safeguards were removed for efficiency. Someone in command compromised our ship? Petrovsky asked incredulously. System was modified, eliminating fail-safes I built, preventing unauthorized use. Removing safeguards created vulnerabilities exploitable by anyone with sufficient architecture knowledge. So when we entered these parameters, Mitchell began, you triggered dormant protocols supposed to be impossible to bypass, except by someone understanding original specifications. This has implications beyond our ship, Petrovsky realized. Similar vulnerabilities in other vessels. They exist, but I've uploaded patch preventing this specific exploit's reuse. Mitchell studied her composed expression. Why build safeguards originally? For the first time, Dr. Thorne appeared uncomfortable. I witnessed how rapidly advanced technology weaponizes beyond original applications. Quantum systems were designed for deep-sea exploration and scientific research. When projects shifted toward military applications, I implemented safeguards preventing certain uses. That could be treasonous, Petrovsky observed coldly. That could be conscience, Rodriguez interjected boldly. Tension was palpable until Dr. Thorne broke silence. Admiral, 2 choices. Arrest me for implementing safeguards 12 years ago, or allow me completing repair and addressing similar vulnerabilities in other vessels. Petrovsky's expression remained unreadable, considering implications. Commander Mitchell, your assessment? Mitchell looked at reactivated systems, then at Dr. Thorne. Can we trust her going forward? Do you have alternatives? If what I've told you is accurate, multiple naval vessels could be vulnerable to similar attacks. And if you're lying about motivations, then why repair Leviathan at all? I could have allowed you remaining stranded and defenseless. Petrovsky made his decision. You'll continue work under direct supervision. Once Leviathan is fully operational, we'll discuss fleet-wide implications. She nodded. I'll need secure communication transmitting protective patch to naval intelligence and verification of implementation across fleet. Granted, but everything goes through proper channels. Of course, she returned to console. Now excuse me, we're only halfway finished with complete repair. For 6 hours, Dr. Thorne worked alongside Thompson and selected specialists, explaining modifications as implemented. Destroyer systems continued reactivation, each stage bringing visible relief to Mitchell and bridge crew. By midnight, USS Leviathan was fully operational. Propulsion system running at 98% efficiency, remaining issues scheduled for routine maintenance at next port. As Dr. Katherine Thorne packed tools preparing to leave, Rodriguez stood attention with sailors who witnessed her extraordinary work, rendering final salute to the woman who saved their ship and possibly prevented international crisis. She returned their salute crisply, then walked toward helicopter carrying her back into classified operations shadows, leaving behind fully operational destroyer and crew who would never forget the quiet civilian who accomplished what Navy's brightest minds could not. Sometimes most crucial battles are won not by those seeking glory, but by those who simply do what needs doing. Dr. Thorne disappeared into night sky, work complete, identity protected, contribution known only to those she saved.